Hello, let's do Wordle for September 19th. Let's give our wheel a spin and see what we're starting with today. All right, Tulip, suggested by Call Me Candle. Didn't we start with Tulip really recently? Oh, I guess we're starting with it again. All right, let's start with Tulip. All right, there's a T and an L. My immediate instinct is L second, T at the end, or maybe a TE word. Ooh, that's even better. But what actually does that? Elate, but I don't want to repeat the E, I don't think. I'd repeat the E if I knew there was an E already, but without knowing there's an E, it feels... I mean, we can literally do any Saleh anagram we want. So why don't we go with steal, which we know hasn't been the answer less. I don't know how I keep missing these Saleh anagrams, but here we go. We're doing steal. Wow, okay. So steal starters are happy, or Saleh anagram starters are happy in general. So is it just an LATE word? Isn't that what I was about to do? Like, oh my gosh. Is it elate? Because it's not slate. I don't think flate is a word. Blate, clay. I'm going to try elate. Oh, okay. I haven't found the E yet. Pretty sure that was possible. All yellows. Yellows are nasty. Okay, so T goes here or here. L goes here or here. And then the E goes second or fourth. This isn't the right way to visualize it. Do we want to start with L or... Let's see, where's the E go? The E could go here. We could do like an EL. No, not EL. We could do an ET word maybe? And then we would start with L. We'd end in ET. And then the A would be second. And it seems like it could... You know, we could do TE actually. Oh, is it just later? It might just be later. It is. Whenever people start with later, that'll be an interesting thing to see on the bot. All right, well, it is the AER trap. So that's not... I mean, ER in general, AER is pretty bad. It does use common letters, though. So a lot of people will avoid the trap just by getting the L and T, like me. But yeah, there could definitely be... I was about to say tragedies. There could be casualties today. All right, well, let's check with the bot to see, like... How did I do there? The answer was later. And I guessed tulip to start. It actually says elate, about as good as slate. I was actually thinking about that. I went with steal. You know, there's all these Saleh anagrams, and they're not all quite equal. It says slate's a little better, but I wanted to go for one that I knew wasn't the answer yet. So after steal, we had 10 words left. Quite a few LATE words, actually. Latex was still possible, for sure. Lathe. Okay. I don't think lathe has been the answer yet. It's suggesting lathe here. I went elate, and that is at the top. So still elate is good. And now it's saying it's later or latex. So I did win a 50-50, but I mean, I was only in guess 4, so that's fine. But yeah, later or latex. So won that 50-50. From tulip, it would do elate or slate or fetal. I think it's interesting to look at the elate here. And then it's going to go fetal or metal or later. So it has a chance of getting it right away. If it did fetal, we're down to later latex. I mean, that's going to be a common theme here, I think, if you don't get the R. Slate is probably very similar to what I did. Oh, it's actually saying do fetal or later or latex. Really interesting that actually steel actually ended up better, I think. Anyway, it's gonna get it in like 4 or 5 about. If we start with Saleh, that already gets the A and the E. It's already later or latex. So I think Saleh starters are probably getting it in 2 most of the time. Steel starters get all those yellows. So latte, lathe. Latte's the best option, double T. And then now getting it in 3 or 4. Most likely 3. If we do a dew, we get the A and the E. And then now it's very concerned about a bunch of words. 97% is very low. For this bot. Valet is a word I know, so we're going to go with that. Now from valet. So valet would have lost on water or tater. I get this question a lot. Like, how could it say you'd lose on water? Obviously, the coloring of valet excludes water. It's before we guessed valet. with adieu, water was possible, right? Water could have been the answer after adieu with the coloring of adieu. And guessing valet, if the answer was water, is going to lose if you follow the bot suggestions. That's the deal. So it's telling you afterwards, hey, you would have lost on this, because it can't tell you beforehand on every single word what you would lose on. Well, I guess it could, but it doesn't. Anyway, it's going to be later or latex, so it's going to get in 3 or 4. Valet is very nice there. I don't know what Taces does. Okay. All right. Rattel instead of later. Amazing. And then audio. 98% solve rate. Lapse. Lapse would have lost on faker, gayer, water, tater, rarer, taste, paver. A lot of ER trap words. But we got the L, and so now it's just going to go later and win. Might go layer before later. All right. And last is trace. Lots of letters from trace. You know what? Why are you going Rattel instead of just getting the answer? It's not even on the list. That's silly, but it could have gotten a 2 easily, but it got a 1, a 3 instead. All right, that's kind of a fun grid though. Cool. Well, let's see how people are doing today. Open up the bot here. One day I'll get Wordle in 1. All right. 99 skill. Wow, really liked my guesses. Luck 41, 4 steps. Tulip was 90 skill. Then Steel was a 98 skill. Elate was a 99 skill. Yeah, I would have gone least instead of, oh, why? So yeah, it would let you guess least in hard mode. It is in hard mode, but I still think that's silly to guess it. Weird. Okay. But I went elate. It's happy with that. And then it would go latte here. I went later, which still had 99 skill. 2 words to pick from. Latte and later. Oh, wait. No, not latte and later. Why are we going latte? The 2 words left were later and latex. So why is latte your pick here? It's being silly. Later 84? This doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, instead of elate, it would go latte. I always misread this. Instead of elate, it would have gone latte. But elate's also up there in the list. And then later, it would have gone later or latex. Okay, I get it now. I always forget that it's one behind. It makes sense, though. All right, place regal later is what it would do. Later is a very common starting word, it seems like. It's at 0.9. I wonder how that compares to how normally how many people would guess it. Tulip, not all that common. D is still way up there. A lot of people getting later in 2, 13%. In 3 is 43%. And 4, we have a 97.8% solve rate, and we're going to have a lot of AER words here. Water, cater, hater. So if you get in the hater trap, it's now a gamble, right? Water, cater, hater. Layer, losing on layer, that's sad. Like, you don't have a T yet, and you go for layer. I mean, it's a 50-50 at that point. But mater, gator, pater even. Ooh, not thinking of later, and you go for something like pater is sad. Raider with a repeated R, dater. There's so many ater words. And if you get into that trap early, you're in hard mode, you're just spamming one letter at a time, and you just gotta get lucky. A lot of people didn't. So yeah, that's why that's the lower solve rate, especially in hard mode. Only 59,000 hard mode Wordles yet, or so far though. Cool. Well, that is it for Wordle. If you'd like to watch the New York Times games, you can click at the end of the video. It'll take you right there. I also have a pinned comment with all of the videos I created today. And if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.